Hey guys, what's up? Craftfast7738 here, back with another Pokemon Sun and Moon update video. So, in the last couple days, some more Pokemon were leaked and then officially announced for Pokemon Sun and Moon. And I've got to say, I'm actually really impressed with some of these Pokemon. So we're gonna go look at all of them, and there was also a few screenshots released, which is really nice. And also one more bit of information, and that's it. So let's get started. So one of the new Pokemon is called Bruxish. Again, if my pronunciation is off or a little bit different, that's how I pronounce it. Everyone pronounces everything differently. Bruxish is a water psychic Pokemon. Again, it reminds me a lot of Lovedusk and Alamalola, just because it's like one of those. I mean, when you look at it, you kind of understand. And it gets the ability Dazzling or Strong Jaw. Dazzling is, of course, a new ability that will be introduced in Pokemon Sun and Moon. Bruxish emits a strong psychic power from the protuberance on its head. When its opponents are bathed in this power, they're stricken with terrible headaches and fall unconscious. As it emits its psychic power, it grinds its teeth loudly. When nearby Pokemon hear the sound of Bruxish's teeth gnashing, they sense danger and flee immediately. Bruxish can have the new ability Dazzling, which no other Pokemon has ever had. The Dazzling ability prevents opponents from using priority moves that normally strike first. This would include moves like Extreme Speed, Quick Attack, Bullet Punch, and others. I mean, when I first saw it, before I looked at what their typings were, I thought Bruxish would be a Water Fairy type just because of the pink coloring, but Water Psychic does make sense for it. I can see it being a tank, maybe especially defensive, but that's about it for Bruxish. I mean, it's probably one of my least favorites of the 7 announced Pokemon, so. Next is Cutiefly. It's the bee fly Pokemon. It's a bug and fairy, which I think is really interesting. I think it will not have any evolutions, though. So, it can have the ability Honey Gather or Shield Dust. Cutiefly can detect the auras of living things, including people, Pokemon, and plants. They search out flowers by the color and brightness of their auras and then gather their nectar and pollen. Cutiefly mostly lives in the fields and meadows on the outskirts of cities, but they sometimes appear in towns and even inside buildings, drawn in by the emotions of the living beings of the community. I definitely think this is a very interesting Pokemon. Again, I don't think that it will evolve. I think that'll be one of the it'll be by itself in its evolutionary chain. Um, Other than that, I can't really predict too much off of it. I can't really see its competitive use right now, but it does look very nice. I gotta say, it has a very nice design. Next is a very interesting Pokemon that goes by the name of Drampa. It is the Placid Pokemon, and the interesting part is it's a normal and dragon type. By its design, it just looks really weird. Anyways, its abilities are Berserk, which is another new ability introduced in Sun and Moon, and Sap Sipper. Drampa are dragons that live alone in the mountains 10,000 feet above sea level. Since they can't obtain the berries they feed on at that range, they descend to the base of the mountains at dawn every day. Drampa love communicating with people and Pokemon. Drampa are especially gentle with children and often appears at schools and parks where children gather. While Drampa is usually a very gentle Pokemon, it can fly into a rage if a child it cares for is hurt in some way. The Dragon Breath move that it fires off at such times is powerful enough to blow down buildings. Drampa can have the Berserk ability, an ability that no other Pokemon has ever had. With the Berserk ability, this Pokemon's special attack will go up by 1 when its HP drops below half. Anyways, I don't think Drampa will have an evolution or a pre-evolution. I think that this is its only stage. Definitely interesting to see a normal dragon type. Very, very weird. But definitely its typing makes sense by its appearance. But its neck is just really weird. I mean, we've had weirder looking dragon types. I'm mainly talking about Gumi right now. But Drampa is very, very interesting. That's really as much as I can say for it. I want more information on it, of course, but that's about it for it. Next is the Pokemon Tapu Koko, but Tapu Koko, sorry. I will be getting back to him actually later. I want to go over some of the other Pokemon. Togedemaru. Probably, I think, the hardest name to pronounce out of all these new Pokemon that were announced. Um, the roly-poly Pokemon, it is an electric and steel type, which does, I mean, you can definitely see it with its appearance. And it gets the abilities Iron Barbs and Lightning Rod, which of course makes sense for this Pokemon. Because, you were in the trailers, we saw spikes coming from its body, so Iron Barbs make sense, and Lightning Rod because it's an electric mouse. Speaking of which, I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be the electric rodent mouse of the region, similar to Dedenne, Pikachu, Plusaminon, etc. Togedemaru is the roly-poly Pokemon that gathers electricity and stores it. The long needle that grows from the back of its head works as a lightning rod to attract electricity. With this reservoir of electrical energy, Togedemaru is able to release powerful electric attacks. Covering its body in a pattern of fur with strands like needles, this means that Togedemaru can roll itself up, and presto, its evolved pricks. On days when lightning strikes, you can sometimes see Togedemaru gather and bristle up their needles, waiting to be struck by lightning. I definitely think that it's very interesting. Again, I think this one does not have any evolutions or pre-evolutions, because it is the electric rodent. But I do think that this is probably going to be a very strong Pokemon. It does look very good. I think its design is very, very nice. Now we get into the fun part. In the last video, we talked about Grubbin, Yungoos, and Pikipek, because they were announced. Now we got some more information. Some information that I really wanted, which is Grubbin's evolutions. Which is the main reason I'm making this video, because Grubbin's evolutions, I've got to say, are very, very nice. So in my last video, I was predicting Grubbin's evolutions, what typing they would be. And I read that Grubbin likes to be near electricity. So I'm like, is it going to be in a bug and electric type? And yes, it will be. Charjabug is Grubbin's evolution. It's the cocoon form, as every bug type has. And it's the battery Pokemon. And I've got to say, I actually think this is a very nice looking cocoon. I like how its eyes look like shades, but I think it looks amazing. It is the battery Pokemon. It's bug and electric type, and has the ability Battery, which is brand new. Charjabug stays perfectly still in preparation for evolution, and often spends time with its body half buried in the earth. Charjabug is able to store up electricity. It can store enough power to run a household for a whole day. The power it stores can be provided to other Pokemon, so it can also serve as a battery. Haha, because it is the battery Pokemon and it has the ability Battery. Charjabug has the Battery ability, an ability not seen before in any other Pokemon. The Battery ability allows it to raise the power of its allies' special moves. So, I can't wait to get this. I can't wait to get a Charjabug, because I love its evolution, Vikavolt. I've got to say, this is the best looking bug type in the all Pokemon. At least that's my opinion. It's definitely the coolest looking, if not one of the coolest looking. You know, it is the Stag Beetle Pokemon. It is bug and electric, and it has the ability Levitate, which has, in my opinion, so many good uses in competitive, because electric types are only weak to ground types, and now it has Levitate, so it's incredibly powerful. And it just looks amazing, so I will definitely have one of these on my team in Pokemon Sun and Moon. Vikavolt is like a fortress that zooms through the forest, firing a beam of electricity from its mouth. Its huge jaws control the electricity it blasts out. Vikavolt is adept at acrobatic flight maneuvers like tailspins and sharp turns. It can fly at high speeds even as it weaves its way through the complicated tangle of branches in the forest. Vikavolt clasps Charjabug with its legs and uses it as an extra battery. Even if a battle drags on, it can use the electrical power from Charjabug to continue firing off powerful moves. When a Vikavolt is engaged in a fierce aerial fight, it releases Charjabug to make itself lighter and increase its mobility. So if we get to see a Vikavolt carrying a Charjabug, I would love to see that. So if anyone has fan art for that, please link me. But I definitely would like to see that in the game. I don't think we will. But still, I gotta say, this is an amazing design for a bug type. For a bug type, this is probably so far my favorite bug type. Even though, the game's not released. But I can definitely see this thing being very useful, and I can't wait to have one. Next, we got the official English release of Komala and Rockruff, which are two Pokemon that were released in Japan. Um, I went over them slightly before. They were known before as Nekawala and Iwanko, which I had a very hard time remembering those names. So these definitely make it a lot easier. But Komala is the drowsing Pokemon and has the ability Comatose. Trying to think what it was. I can't remember what its ability was in Japanese. I went over it slightly, but in short, it has an ability. The ability Comatose allows it to the only status condition it can have is being asleep. No one has ever seen a Komala awake. It eats, travels, and even battles while sound asleep. Its saliva can be used as medicine for the sick or sleepless, according to ancient people. They say if you take a small amount of the saliva remaining after it eats leaves, water the saliva down, and drink it, you'll be able to sleep well. Komala clings to a log pillow that its parents have given to it. Once it has grasped this log, it almost never releases it. If it does lose hold of its log, this Pokemon will be unable to sleep well and will thrash about wildly. Apparently, it will sometimes cling to the arm of a trainer it trusts. So that's going to be interesting. I'm doubting that we'll see that in the games, but that would be very interesting to see in the games. And it is a normal type. I want to see its evolution. I'm guessing it'll be the next bear. It'll be part of the bear Pokemon group, like Beartic, and Cubchoo and Ursaring, and Pancham, that whole group, of course. I think it's going to join it, so it'll be very nice to see that. And Rockruff, who I think looks amazing, definitely has a very nice puppy look, is the puppy Pokemon. It's Rock type, has Keen Eye and Vital Spirit. Rockruff is a sociable Pokemon, but as it grows, its disposition gets wilder. If it begins to howl when the sun goes down, that is proof that it's close to evolving. Said that it leaves its trainer's side to evolve and returns again when fully evolved. So that'd be interesting to see if actually, like, when in a battle, if it's like really close to evolving, like depending on its level, you can hear it through the sound of the battle. That would be very interesting, actually, and I'd love to see that. And I believe, yeah, that's it for all the new Pokemon. Really, the only other new Pokemon is Tapu Koko, sorry. I'm still getting used to this name. It was mentioned a lot during E3, during the playing in E3 when they were showing off part of the game at the beginning. It was mentioned a lot. So everyone's like, okay, what is this guy? Who is this? Who is this? Well, in Sun and Moon, we were told that it's made up of 4 giant islands. And we were actually given the names of one of these islands. And again, I'm sorry if I mispronounced this, it's Mele Mele or Meal Meal. And when I looked up what this meant, if like this could be translated in Hawaiian, it actually means yellow. So this is Yellow Island. Please tell me that the other 4 islands are named Red, Green, and Blue in Hawaiian, because I would love that. I'm guessing that's not what they are, but that's what I saw on Google. I don't know how true it is, but Tapu Koko is the guardian protector of Meal Island. Sorry, still getting used to this name. All these new names. And so I'm guessing the island gets its name because of the yellow coloration, kinda. It is the land spirit Pokemon. It's electric and fairy. I mean, of course, I kind of see it more as an electric and steel type, but electric fairy I think is going to be very interesting. It has the new ability of electric surge, and of course, it has its own special move. Tapu Koko is a special Pokemon that protects the area where it lives. It's called the guardian deity of Melomel Island, one of the islands of the Alola region. Although it's known as a guardian deity, it's surprisingly fickle Pokemon, and will not necessarily come to your aid if you need help. Despite that, this Pokemon has a strong sense of curiosity. If it becomes interested in a Pokemon or a person, it may come to play or battle with them. Tapu Koko's ability is Electric Surge, an ability that has never been seen in a Pokemon, which we keep hearing, but I think they just need different ways to phrase it, in my opinion. But Electric Surge fills the field around the Pokemon's feet with electricity when it appears. raising the power of any electric-type move for Pokemon on the ground and may prevent Pokemon from falling asleep. Tapu Koko can learn a new move called Nature's Madness, which slams into an opponent and reduces the Pokemon's HP by half. So, its ability is just the electric field terrain. I'm trying to think. I think it's called Electric Field. Pretty sure it's Electric Field. Yeah. But so I definitely think that this design is very, very interesting. I love this design. And so a lot of these new designs, I've got to say, are very good. Of course, my favorite is Vikavolt because it's amazing. But other than that, like probably the worst design is of course Bruxish because it fits in my opinion with Alomomola and Luvdisc. But what can you do about that? So as I also said early on, that there were some new screenshots revealed, so those are always interesting to look at. In the world of Pokemon Sun and Moon, you will discover moves more powerful than you've seen before, adventures in uncharted locations, and many more delights just waiting to be explored. Get an early look at what's to come. More detailed information about the new features in Pokemon Sun and Moon will be available soon. So, these pictures are very small, so let me zoom in a little bit. So, here we get a forest. I'm guessing this is like when you enter it. This is how it'll look, maybe for the first few steps, and then later it'll go back to top view, aerial view, sorry. Definitely, I think it looks very nice. I think the details are amazing. I like, over here you can see a little den. I'm guessing a young goose den, maybe, something like that. Trees. I think that this is very well done. Here you get to see a Pikachu using an attack. Very nice, very nice. You can see like a desert, I think, is in the background. But and here you get to see one of the cooler things about all of this news is riding Pokemon is back. I loved it in XY. You got to ride around on Go-Go, Skidoo, Rhydon, and Mamoswine. So I'm definitely can't wait to see what other Pokemon we get to ride around. Maybe some flying Pokemon. Maybe, I also hope that for surfing, similar to what they did to Lapras, Sharpedo, and Wailmer, I'm hoping that they'll do it again for Pokemon Sun and Moon, but for maybe some other Pokemon. But I definitely think that riding Pokemon was a very nice feature, especially in like certain routes. So I can't wait to see that back again. Other than that, that's really it for all this news. I mean, it seems like a lot, but when you get down to it, it's just like 7 new Pokemon. We get the name of one of the islands, which means yellow in Hawaiian. I'm going to say that again. It means yellow in Hawaiian. So I'm hoping the others are going to be red, blue, and green. But I can't, I can only hope. And there were some new screenshots. Other than that, when we get more Pokemon Sun and Moon news, I'll definitely make sure I make a video on it. I'll try to make it quicker. I was just on vacation when all this news was released. Other than that, until then, see you guys all next time.